Hi there, friends of St. Paul's. Today is Wednesday, March 1st, and we are journeying into the season of Lent. I'm seated here in our sanctuary next to our Lenten cross and our streams in the desert area, where we're noticing the way that God is showing up among us in places we might have imagined to be barren or wilderness spaces. This season, each Wednesday, I will be sharing an essay with you from a group of essays entitled I Want to Pray. March is also Women's History Month, and so these essays are written by women of faith and were gathered by Lutheran Social Services about 20 years ago, or maybe 30. And so we're going to read these responses from earlier faithful women and just see what they have to say about what it means to pray. They're all completing the sentence, I want to pray. And I want to encourage you to think about the sentence in your own life. How would you complete this sentence? How might you write a reflection even, or just think it through? What does it mean to you to pray? What gets in the way? What do you want to pray for? How do you pray in your life? And I hope that this season of Lent might be a time of intentional prayer and engagement with God and spirituality for each of you. This essay is written by Susan Wendorf. She was the associate pastor at Lutheran Church of Peace. It was the ALC congregation in Platteville, Wisconsin, and she was the campus pastor at UW Platteville. I want to pray in my closet, but am really quite reluctant to disturb the spider who has artfully spun her own silky condominium in the southeast corner of that dark cubicle. I want to pray at my bedside on my knees as I did years ago after my sisters were asleep. But then my dog thinks we're playing hide and seek and finds great sport in squiggling her wet black nose up between my folded hands to plant her version of a kiss on my cheek. We always end up giggling. I want to pray in the darkened quiet of the night before I fall asleep, to give the day up to God. But so often the day gives up before my prayers do, and although a friend has said, what better way to fall asleep than in the mind of God? I still would like more waking time with the God of mind and body and soul. I want to pray to our Father in heaven, whose name has been holy for centuries. But sometimes there comes from deep within myself what seems to be a centuries-old longing to talk with a woman, an our mother in human space and time. I want to pray in all the traditional ways and places, but they just don't seem to fit my traditions, my ways, my places. So I pray during my daily morning shower, with the waters beating down over my head and swirling about my feet. There I pray that God would keep me this day in my baptismal covenant and would make me as fresh and new and clean as the waters make me feel. And I remember that just as surely as the waters find their way down the drain, so surely does God forgive my yesterday. Sometimes I gurgle out a hymn or two, and am not quite surprised that my water bill is so high at the end of the quarter. I pray sitting at my desk, in the study half of my dining room, elbows firmly planted on this month's bills and last month's copy of Sojourners, eyes wandering over scattered paper clips, dried up pens that resist being thrown away, and a half-used package of electric outlet insulators. And in the midst of all such worldliness, I am reminded to pray for the world that is cold and hungry and frightened. The world so preoccupied with its own busyness. The world manufactured, used, and discarded. The world at war with itself, defying God to again pronounce it good. The world that measures and counts and weighs and grosses national products and reports the death of a God-imagined human being in statistical nomenclature. And when my soul cries out for nurturing, for the warm mother's milk of most basic sustenance, when I know I need the quiet security of womb-like solitude and nothing else will do, then I pray to our Mother God, whose waiting arms never fail to welcome her weary, wandering children home again. For it is finally only in God's all-embracing presence that I receive the gifts of rest and peace, of life and life and life yet once more. And I am learning to pray not only with words and thoughts, not only with bended knees and intertwined fingers, but with my entire self. I'm learning that prayer is risky business. As my knees straighten out and move my feet toward the people I've prayed for, and my fingers untangle to offer an open hand, palms up to those glimpsed by my heart's eye. Will they take what I have to offer? Will they demand more from me than my prayers have promised, I wonder? But I don't wonder for long, for I must pray again. I cannot help but pray, any more than God can help but listen. It's the way we are, God and I. God wants to love me to life, listen me to life, and I want to pray.